All right, we're about to dive into a story that is so wild, it sounds like it was ripped straight from a movie script. We're talking about the Roman Colosseum, a truly bizarre accident, and a medical outcome that just, well, it defies all logic. This is the science behind how someone survived the impossible.
So let's just get right to it with the main question, the one that sounds totally unbelievable. How on earth do you survive being impaled by a spike that goes right through your spine? I mean, everything we know about medicine, about human anatomy, says you don't. It's impossible. But as we're about to find out, sometimes real life is way stranger than fiction. Okay, so picture it. You're at the Roman Colosseum. It's iconic. Thousands of people are around, exploring history, snapping photos. It's just a totally normal day. But for one person, that ordinary day turned into an absolute nightmare, ending with an injury so severe it completely baffled the entire medical world. Now, to really understand what a miracle this was, we first have to get a handle on the stakes. We've got to look at the spine and really understand why an injury like this is, almost without exception, a death sentence. Think about your spinal cord like this. It's the body's information superhighway. It's not just a structure, it is the main line of communication. Every single signal from your brain to your arms, your legs, your organs, it all has to travel down this one incredibly fragile pathway. And this superhighway is absolutely essential. We're not just talking about being able to walk or feel something touching your skin. No. We're talking about the deep down functions that literally keep you alive. Your breathing, your heartbeat, all your vital organs. If you sever that cord, you sever the connection between your brain and the systems that keep you living. So, if the spinal cord is that important, how is survival even on the table? Well, this is where the story goes from a medical horror show to an incredible story of pure luck. It all came down to a game of millimeters. So 99.9% of the time, what should have happened is a catastrophic hit. The spike severs the spinal cord, maybe punctures a major artery like the aorta, game over. But what actually happened was a miraculous miss. By some phenomenal 1 in a million chance, the spike found the only path that passed between all of these critical parts. Let's just trace this unbelievable path for a second. The spike goes into the back, but instead of shattering bone and destroying the spinal cord, it slips right between the vertebrae. Then it keeps going, weaving its way through an absolute minefield of vital organs. It misses the big blood vessels, the lungs, everything. And then it exits out the front, again, without hitting any major nerve bundles. The odds are just astronomical. But here's the thing. Surviving the initial impact is only half the battle. Luck got the patient to the hospital, but it was modern science, sheer medical skill, that carried them the rest of the way through a really grueling recovery. Just look at this number, 80. 80 stitches. That single number tells you so much about the scale of the physical damage here. This was not a small puncture wound. This was a massive, devastating injury that took incredible skill just to close up. And that was just the start. The recovery process was a complete marathon. It began with the emergency teams stabilizing the patient right there at the scene. Then came the incredibly delicate surgery to remove the spike itself. After that, weeks, then months of intense physical therapy to get the body working again. Every single step had to be perfect. So when you put all the pieces together, what does this story really show us? It's not a story about just one thing. It's about a perfect, almost impossible combination of two very powerful forces. For this survival to happen, you needed two key ingredients. First, a dose of luck so big it's hard to even wrap your head around. The spike took literally the only path through the body that was survivable. And second, human expertise, the skill of the first responders, the surgeons, the therapists who took that tiny sliver of a chance and turned it into a real recovery. And I think this quote just nails it. It really was a game of millimeters, won by the slimmest of margins. A tiny shift, any direction, would have meant a completely different and tragic ending. In the end, this whole incredible story leaves you with a really fascinating question. We think we know the limits of what the human body can take, but when you see luck and science come together in just the right way, well, what does an event like this tell us about the true nature of survival and the hidden depths of our own resilience? It really makes you wonder.